I'm Robert Stevens. I work at Harbin Hot Springs. I'm a Valley Fire victim. I lost my house in the fire and everything I owned. Where I was working at the time, I was just doing handyman stuff, so my job didn't burn, but all my tools burned. So I had no way to have an income after the fire because everything was gone.
I retired from nursing after working 25 years with California. But then September 12, 2015, the fire came down and took everything. My home, my belongings, everything, so I had nothing left. So I was homeless for about 10 months, living at the Safeway parking lot. And it was really a devastating thing that has happened.
Holbrook's Historical Association lost one of those historic resorts in Northern California during the fire. We lost over 85 buildings, which included a 55,000 square foot main lodge. We were devastated by the loss and didn't really know what we were going to do following the destruction of the fire.
I used to be a Sears technician for appliances. Before that, I'm a certified gunsmith for Department of Defense. I don't want to go away from home too far away. I want to stay around with my family. This gives me a good opportunity to do that.
I've been in construction for the past 27, 28 years. I moved up here from the Bay Area about 8 years ago. And thanks to the California Human Resource Grant, there's been a little more steady money because there's not a lot of construction out here. It's a little sparse as far as employment, just because of the nature of the area.
Several years ago, I had a trauma in my family, and I took it pretty hard. My son actually was murdered, and I got to a point to where I was unemployable. I was so upset and saddened and going through the tough times with my family. It's actually giving me hope that that I can get back to work and that I can do all the things that I love to do.
Well, I had actually purchased a house up here with my fiance, and I wasn't supposed to be here for another 20 years. But I got sick of coming and going, and I decided to take the step up here, which my father told me not to do because there's no work in Lake County, and he was right. And that's why I feel very fortunate to be here. You know, I was killing myself at another store, I don't need to say the name, for a way lesser amount of money. And it was so little I had to leave it because it was cheaper for me to not even work there.
Well, on September 12th, the fire completely devastated our property. In a matter of hours, everyone I know lost their jobs and homes and many relationships, and put a real blight on the future of a lot of people.
Well, previously, before the fires, my job was with the company up here. It was not up here on Cobb, but around the area for fire prevention. And after the fires came, he kind of just let his business go. And I kind of was looking for work at the time for quite a bit of time, and I found the program, heard about it, and went and joined it and signed up. And there's a little waiting period between it, but eventually I got on and met Kim and John, and they hired me.
I had a extended time of unemployment, and I was having a hard time finding something to do, and it was really stressful on me and my wife, and this has been really good.
We have been in Lake County for many years, working with the farm worker program. And then when the fire took place, actually Marco Lizarraga and Bruce Wilson and our previous CEO, Chris Page, got together and looked at the opportunities of applying for some funding to bring some work here to Lake County. And that's how the idea of applying for some funding came to be. It was submitted to EDD, or Employment Development Department, who then in turn went to the Department of Labor, and the grant was given to provide temporary employment to individuals that have been affected by the fire, and to be able to do work that would lead to the recovery of Lake County. Unfortunately, because of the drought and now with the flood, we seem to be having more work in this county that is because of disasters, natural disasters. So the fire, the flood, and the drought affected Lake County in some way, and because of that, we are able to provide some employment to individuals in this county, yes.
When I got a call that the grant was potentially available for our organization, it was a miracle that came, and we were so thankful that we would have an opportunity to clean up this historic resort once and for all.
My name is Adam Contreras. I work at Hoburg's Historical Association. We got a grant from the government. They allow me to live my life, you know, start over.
This grant has helped our family, and I can see it's helped a lot of people here in Lake County grow their families, and I think it's a good thing.
There's guys I've spoken to here and myself that's been out of work for years and been trying and want to work. And the programs give us that chance to get out to work, also to help community, and once the program's done, you're able to go on and now move on to another job. It's a good program.
At one time or another, we all had good jobs, and we ran into some downfalls that the program has given us the opportunity to get back on our feet, learn new skills, and kind of advance on the skills we already know.
It takes a lot more patience and understanding when people haven't worked for a while and then they come back to work, and you know, the adjustment period of learning to work, learning to be a team again, and all of that.
It's really nice because I know me personally, I was like, what the heck am I gonna do? You know, there's no work, there's no nothing for anybody, locals especially. So the grant has given me, and I know other people, fellow people that I've worked with, an opportunity to, if we hadn't had our stuff together, our lives together, or you know, we were having a hard time finding work, they have made it to where we not only have work experience on our resume, if we do continue to work with you guys or whatever happens, you know, we have that as well. So they have given me, and as well as other people here, a new opportunity to start anew, just to start building our lives back up. Whether or not we were fire victims or not, people locals here, it hit us all. And it's really nice to have this grant come in and help us get back on our feet.
So even though it was a disaster, I feel like good things did come out of it. It put a lot of people to work. You know, it feeds a lot of people to this day, and I'm definitely grateful for it.
My name is Narcy Bravo, and I'm the regional manager for California Human Development. And basically, I've been working for California Human Development for 39 years. My home base is in Dixon, California, and I supervise 5 counties, starting with Isolano, Napa, Sonoma, Lake, and Mendocino. In Lake County, I call it my disaster county because everything happens in Lake County. In 2015, it was declared a drought county, so we were putting people to work that were affected by the drought. And then we had the fire. And now with the storm that we have in February, well, Lake County was affected by the flood. So I call it my disaster county. So basically, they wrote a grant, submitted to Department of Labor. Department of Labor decided that they were going to grant us this money so that we could help all those people that got affected by the fire. So we received the money in January 2016, and since then we have helped hundreds of people. And to me, you know, a year later, we're still helping with the cleanup because the devastation was so horrible that, you know, the community itself is just beginning to rebuild. I saw some pictures from Harvard of the beautiful resort that they had before and now how it is. And it was heartbreaking just to see that.
Yeah, well, we have RCD, we have Hoburg's, we have Harbin, we have the Senior Center, we have Adidam. The main reason why we have the bigger companies like Hoburg's and Adidam and Harbin is because of the education that they're teaching the individuals as they come in through those doors looking for help. Every one of them needs training, some kind of training, and that's building them from within. So these are why the programs, the partners that we chose was because they lost a lot in the fire, and they're helping us gain a lot back in our community.
You know, when we first came here in December of 2015 and looked at the places that we are now working at and how they looked, you know, this morning I was actually at Drought Park, and to see what the park looked like, you know, back in December 2015 and what it looks like today, there's definitely a tremendous difference.
My name's Tino Gamber. I'm the supervisor here at Trailside, and I've been in the development business for 47, 48 years. So I was fortunate to meet with community development, and they asked me if I would oversee this particular project. This is a 106-acre park, Trailside Park in Middletown. And thanks to community development and thanks to the grant, the money that's available, we've had an opportunity here to employ, I've got 15 guys, I've had as many as 15 to 20 guys on this crew. So we've had an opportunity to teach them life skills. They've now learned to run heavy equipment. In 5 months, have cleaned up 106 acres because they've allowed us to have a little bit of equipment. We have excavators, we have skid steers, we have chippers, and now my guys have learned not only to run chainsaws, but they can run and operate all of that equipment. So it's been a huge benefit to the local community, and I would hope that it would continue. These are people that had no skills whatsoever, and now, because of the grant and because of this program, they really have a future.
We have 2 several-acre ponds that CAL FIRE uses to protect this in the greater area during wildfire, and they use them regularly. And during the Valley Fire, they use them quite a bit. And we also have a 200-gallon-a-minute irrigation / fire water supply system. And then we have 80,000 gallons of firefighting water in reservoirs with an extensive hydrant system so that you can access that water. So that's another asset that's available for the greater community when disaster strikes as a wildfire. We also have a community garden, and that was totally destroyed in the fire. So when I started to discuss the possibility of us getting this grant with CHD, we talked about, well, you know, what can we actually do for the community? And those things came up, and they became the basis for us getting this grant. We would not be able to do this work that we are doing now without this grant. We didn't have the resources within ADIDOM to fulfill this. And because these resources are important for the greater community and also important to us, we were able to obtain this grant and then develop it. Once we did get the grant, we knew that we were going to get individuals involved that were going to be employees here that didn't necessarily have all of the developed skills that we needed in order to operate the equipment that we, you know, chainsaws and brush cutters and some heavy equipment to perform these operations here. So Kim and I developed an extensive training program. We developed a manual of job site policies, basic safety. Then we put together several hours of video training relative to safety, proper use and care of tools, and we developed an extensive chainsaw program where we not only instructed these individuals in the classroom about how to use a chainsaw, how to care for it properly and maintain it, but we also did field training with more experienced people that we had on our payroll that could teach them how to fell trees. So once their experience developed, we allowed them to cut larger trees and do other processes that we couldn't do right from the beginning. Also, part of that process was that we were going to repair the forest. So in addition to doing these processes of cutting down the trees, we made burned the burn piles during burn season, and then we started to replant the areas. We've done forest reparation on about 450 acres. It's all been hand done, very little heavy equipment. We weren't able to afford the heavy equipment. And we planted over 9,000 trees during the planting season, and we intend to plant more during this next season to try to bring back the forest.
What I learned from here is, well, more than I could have learned in life at the moment. I have a lot of great people who teach me probably some of the best things about safety that I need to know about the job I do. And before I had some experience, but now I know the correct way. Felling trees and other work that has to be done with this job has given me a lot of life skills that I could take on after this job ends, that I could keep going forward with.
And it's been amazing to see how some of these people have really come from, hard times. And we've been very patient in allowing them, to kind of acclimate to having full-time jobs. Maybe they haven't had one in a while. Maybe they've never really had this kind of an opportunity come to them. And so it's been really important to be patient with them and give them guidance in order to support them to actually succeed in stabilizing their life and maybe finding a different way of how they want to live their life by having a job that pays money, that their life is taken care of, their family's taken care of.
We were lucky enough to have over 85 people from the grant program here at Hoburgs. From those individuals, we were able to teach them a tremendous amount of skills. One of the things that we started was a certification program because we wanted the folks here to learn more skills and get certified in a specific trade. So what we did is took over 25 people over the period of the last 16 months and certified them in heavy equipment operations, chainsaw operations, and others.
I just greatly appreciate the fact that they've given us this opportunity to learn different fields and stuff, because like always before I was always just a truck driver. Now I get to get out and I'm a chainsaw guy. I get to do everything else. I've jumped in an end dump. I could do anything else. Like, I drove backhoes and stuff here. It's a really good program to learn and actually get experience in other aspects of avenues for, to make money and stuff that you need in life.
When the resort burned last year, this whole bank was exposed and we started spotting pieces of cultural material coming out of the sidewall here. I started looking at this stuff and I realized none of this stuff is more recent than 1936. A fire came through here in 1936 and burned 80 of the resort's buildings. When they cleaned up from that fire, they deposited most of that stuff right here next to the main lodge and used it as fill to make an addition on the main lodge. In doing that, they inadvertently protected this treasure trove of cultural material. Everything that happened here at the resort from 1890 to 1936 is preserved in this layer of soil. It's just amazing. By the time we get through all of this, we should be able to reconstruct the changes that took place here before, during, and after Prohibition, how that affected the resorts of Lake County. I'm really looking forward to getting through all of this stuff and using it to add a few pages to Hoburg's history book.
Working with the archaeologists has given me quite a bit of insight, and I've had experience digging bottles since I was 9, I think. And so we have similar backgrounds, so it's a good fit.
So we received an email out of the blue from CHD. We had never heard of them, weren't familiar with their program at all. And they came at just the right time. When we were able to return to our property initially, it was a nightmare. We had no idea how we would deal with the trees, the biomass, let alone our buildings. CHD was a breath of fresh air. I don't know how we would have managed to get where we're at today without their help. We were faced with an enormous task when we saw the forest. We have about 1,400 acres and hundreds of thousands of trees, and many of those trees need to come down. I don't know the numbers, but a lot of them need to come down and be moved. So there's work for a long time, and we're going to need to devote a lot of resources to make Harbin as beautiful as it was. It's going to take time, it's going to take years. We're committed to doing it. We've started a reforesting project. CHD has in its own way supported that because the biomass teams have helped prepare the ground for the teams to come in and do the planting or do the lop and scatter. So CHD is welcome to be with us as long as they care to be.
I'm Valerie Cox. I'm the Community Outreach Specialist with Hope Crisis Response Network, and our rebuilding program is Hope City here in Middletown, California. My husband founded Hope Crisis Response Network about 18 years ago to work in disaster relief and recovery. So we've helped about 20,000 families across the country recover following disaster. The Valley Fire in September of 2015 destroyed 1,281 homes. And that is devastating to this county. They are still struggling to find rentals for people. Many of our clients live in RVs on their property. Housing is at a crisis, and they definitely need help rebuilding. So Hope City committed to be here for 5 years as part of the rebuilding process. Hope Crisis Response Network is our nonprofit organization, and our project here is called Hope City.
Well, Hope City is the name of the project that we actually give to the workings of the rebuilds in our programs. We bring in volunteers from all over the country, and what we do is in the midst of a disaster, there's 200 logos running all over the city. And so as we shrink down into the long-term recovery, what we try to do is create one logo so we all shed our name and pick up a different name, which in this case is Hope City, which is also refers to the restoring of the lives of the individuals we serve. Through California Human Development, we've been able to receive 6 or 7 guys that have been working with us daily to help rebuild these houses. It's a program that's a dislocated grant that allows these men to come and to earn a paycheck and to be able to put food on their tables and to meet the needs and care for their families.
My name is DeMarco Metcalf, and I'm a carpenter with Hope City. Working with CHD has been good. They have given me a lot of things, and I'm sure will continue to give me a lot of things and opportunities that otherwise I wouldn't have. The boots that I'm wearing right now are from CHD. It's a $130 pair of boots that they want to make sure that my feet are comfortable while I'm at work all day. I have $250 worth of tools in the bed of my truck right now, all from CHD. So they're definitely helping out. And then on top of that, with tools and whatnot, Hope City as a foundation has been super, super awesome. Anything that we need, if we don't have it, they don't have it, it's to us by the end of the day.
The lady across the street here, the first day they opened the town back up, we got back in here and started doing assessments. And she says, I'm okay. I'm worried about the guy on the other side there. You need to find him and you need to help him and you need to build him a house. And later that week, I got to know Grant Hardister from Hardister's Market here. And he shares a story about a gentleman that he's been working with who lost his home. And lo and behold, the two guys were the same.
Lost all my cars, trucks, and motorcycles. They were volunteers, most of them, and I paid for some of the material, and then it was donated some labor and other things. So I thank them a lot of times and hope they can help other people and help me a little more sometime.
So my name is Carl Parker. I'm a former Cobb resident, lost my home in the Valley Fire. A little over a year ago, volunteered to head up the Abatement Monitoring Committee. And the primary focus of that committee has been the cleanup of the debris and the aftermath of the fire at the former Hoburg's resort site. The Abatement Monitoring Committee began its work at the beginning of August of 2016, so about a year ago. And what it is today, we just did a tour of the property, and the change is dramatic. The amount of work that needed to be done at the beginning was overwhelming, and the amount of work that has been accomplished in my opinion, is really quite amazing.
Over the last 16 months, we've been able to accomplish a tremendous amount of the cleanup effort here at Hoburg's. And without the workers that were provided by the grant and CHD and other affiliated groups, we would never be able to get this done. One of the programs we put together to assist the local community here after the fire was the free delivery of cords of wood to people devastated by the fire. Over 150 people have received free wood from this program. Here at Hoburg's Historical Association, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the National Dislocated Worker Fire Temporary Jobs Program, the U.S. Department of Labor Employment Training Agency, La Cooperativa Campesina de California, and California Human Development. Without these groups, we would never be able to get Hoburg's cleaned up and reopened sometime in the future.
These funds have gone a long way to get us all back on our feet. Thank you very much.
I just want to thank them for everything. Helped me start over. And thank you.
So I do want to thank the people that gave me the opportunity to work out here, gave us a grant, so I'm really thankful for them. And I hope that many other people can get the same opportunity as I did.
The grant people, I just want to say thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to work.
It's not common to have something like this happen to me. I mean, I've been down for a while and this has opened doors for me in every aspect.
So to the people who are giving us out the grants, I would just like to say thank you very much. I really appreciate it, helping me out, and not only just me, but my family and all the other families here and all the other people that are friends here. It helps everyone out, and it's really nice.
I really appreciate the opportunity, to work, and there's not a lot of work in Lake County, and this has helped out me and my family a lot.
Thank you so much for everything you guys have done, and this grant has been amazing. It's put hundreds of people to work.
As of now, it kind of really changed my life. Before I wasn't in a position where I could even provide for my family because of the previous job, and now I feel better as a person. That's probably the most important thing to me.
I would like to thank Hope City for giving me the opportunity to come here and build homes for these families. Also would like to thank CHD. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for CHD. This short span of time that I've had here is going to carry on with me for my entire life, no doubt.
I really appreciate this opportunity. This has been wonderful for a lot of people. This is feeding a lot of people. It's making a lot of people's lives better. There was a big problem with unemployment in Lake County. As much as this fire may have sucked, it's been very beneficial for the workforce.
When there's destruction everywhere, over 1,200 homes burned in the fire and all these other structures. So just to see something moving forward and helping be a part of that larger goal of the whole community has really impacted me a lot. And I thank CHD for it.
So yeah, basically the grant made it so I now have a full-time job because I got hired on through after the grant. So it really was, it's a success story, It worked out real well for me.
All right, I just want to say a special thanks to whoever gave us this grant to Lake County, and letting the money stay here for those of us to help us rebuild our own community. It's greatly appreciated from all of us around.